Hi folks, how are all of you? Always a pleasure talking to you about contemporary topics in life and careers, and I'm here to talk about a very interesting topic, career myopia, and how it can completely throw your life and career out of gear. Firstly, I think some of you might think that a lot of the podcasts in my video are probably with a negative connotation. I'll give you the reason for that. In my own experience and probably little amount of wisdom, I've seen that success, happiness, life, a great career, a great working life, good amount of resources in the bank. I think it all boils down to not really what are the right things we do. Probably, if we don't do a lot of wrong things, I think we probably have a much happier life than someone who does only right things. I think it is extremely careful not to do the wrong things, and that is the objective of talking about career myopia. What exactly is career myopia? Of course, there are various manifestations of this, but I personally feel one of the singular reasons why we all suffer from career myopia is two things. One, we're extremely short-sighted, and second thing, we probably take things for granted. And I've seen a lot of people, particularly in early and mid-career, irrespective of your educational qualification. You could be a graduate, could be a postgraduate, you could come out with a great pedigree from the Indian Institute of Management or IIT or whatever. Irrespective of what your educational background is, what is the kind of space or the domain you are in, what is the kind of first job you take up, I think success in your career or success in your career path is all about not being short-sighted in terms of what decisions you take with respect to your career. And this is very important. Probably I would say 60-70% of us make these mistakes throughout our life in terms of a working life, in terms of not being not having enough foresight in terms of what exactly we should look forward in every tenure of the job, how long each of these tenures should be, how much should we aspire to grow, and to reach that kind of a growth, what exactly should be our contributions in every single job. These are very important. Today, career growth is all about tangible contribution to the jobs. Gone are the days we can, probably even unless otherwise we were in a public sector company or one of those old age organizations, like for example Tata Steel, or one of those very old age organizations where just a tenure matters. As long as you probably are present in the job from 9 to 5, 5-6 days a week for years and years, I think number one, your job security is assured, and number two, your career is practically assured, because decent life, good amount of remuneration, no great goals and targets, as long as you are a part of, your one cog in the whole wheel, which is running by design, because a number of things, the market dynamics are allowing the wheel to run. I think the company is a kind of the company operated in a monopolistic situation where there is not much of competition. So these kind of factors were the dictating or deciding factors in the earlier generation of organizations. But today, unfortunately, the competition is very fierce, irrespective of whichever sector. Technology, you got hundreds and thousands of companies. Technology landscape is changing because of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and etc. And if you are a non-tech company, like if you are a consumer goods company, if you are a banking and financial services company, there is immense pressure for reaching the revenue goals of the organization. And every single person is measured only by these revenue goals. So that is the most important perspective we need to have when we pass out of college and probably go into our first job. Yes, there is a settling time maybe of 6 months or 1 year maximum, but after that we are going to be measured almost by the week in terms of what is our contribution to the job. So this is a fundamental mindset which needs to change amongst many of us. Yeah, some of us are aware that this is the kind of work culture now, but most of us somehow take things for granted, and because we take things for granted, we also probably imagine that the career will take care of itself. All we need to just go with the flow. That doesn't happen in majority of the cases, and that this ignorance is a main cause of career myopia. Like I keep saying again and again, the moment you step into a career path or a career zone, I think you very clearly need to plan as to what you want to be, where you want to be, and in how many years you want to be there. What are the kind of employers you want to work with. whether you'll sustain yourselves with those kind of reputed employers, whether you'll work with A category employers, or you probably, if there are better roles, you look at B category employers. What is the kind of role availability for the kind of your skill sets you have, your competencies you have? So if there are tangible goals set by the organization, are those goals achievable by you? This is all about research. This is all about understanding an organization even before an organization hires you. So gone are the days when we blindly went ahead for interviews, got hired, and probably we think life is very cushy after getting in there. Those days are gone. You need to really very clearly do a lot of preliminary research in terms of what exactly you will contribute in an organization, what are the kind of expectations you have. So to that extent, create a relationship or create an understanding with people, or interact with people in those industries to understand what is the kind of gravitas which is required to survive in that space. And this is a kind of knowledge which is required. I think if you ask me personally, probably I was partly ignorant of these kind of dynamics when I took up my first job maybe decades ago, because there was not even research in terms of which industry I should look for, what is a promising industry for my skill sets and competencies, what is a promising industry which will promise me a good growth trajectory provided I perform well. I think nothing. It was purely dictated by probably counting on luck, counting on destiny and things like that. And to that extent, I think I can very clearly and confidently and probably humbly tell you that my career has clearly plateaued at some point in time, had plateaued at some point in time because of this myopia. So I urge you, never have that taken for granted thing as far as your career is concerned. Plan things very clearly. If you're a graduate, decide if you have graduation is enough. After that, what is your first job? Okay, you got your first. Not everybody is blessed with a campus job. Probably some people apply for jobs and get it. But once you get in there, very clearly start working on your career path. I'm not saying you should have a very clear career trajectory or career vision on day one of getting your first job, but maybe in the first 5 years time, if you really can't envision what you want to do in the next 10 or 20 years or 30 years, very clearly you lost, and probably somewhere down the line, maybe in 10 years, if you lack the kind of vision for a proper career, you'll probably get stuck. And I think that is where your mid-career crisis will rock very badly, and sometimes you'll even hit a blind alley that you need to probably quit the working life and start exploring things on your own, and that is not very easy. Exploring things on your own is extremely tough. The market is very challenging. Freelance life is very difficult. So we need to bear all that in mind when we take decisions like this, and that is where again long-term planning comes into mind. So as I normally say, I'm not sure whether this articulation is fine, but what I'm saying is very clearly, you need to probably jot down or have a mind map in terms of what you will be in so many years' time, what exactly you will do to remain there, how exactly you will build your skills and competencies, what is additional qualifications you will gain to become an expert in a particular area if that is your aspiration. So it is a lot of iteration, it is a lot of work, it is a lot of trial and error, maybe in the first few years of your working life, maximum 5 to 7 years. But if you're going to iterate, keep iterating maybe after 7-10 years or 12 years of your work life, I think you'll probably keep iterating for the rest of your life, and you'll probably get lost completely in a maze where you will not find your way out for a successful career. So bear this in mind, and to that effect, it is very important to keep updating yourselves with a lot of knowledge. Do short-term courses wherever required. If probably take a sabbatical, probably pursue a postgraduate course which will reward you in the long term. Talk to peers, talk to people who are your mentors, have a set of mentors who are from your industry and who can guide you properly in terms of where exactly you should be and things like that. Contemporary updation in terms of what is happening in a specific industry is so important, because things are very dynamic. The work dynamics in organizations are changing, work cultures are changing, the leadership styles are changing in organizations. So it is a vast ocean out there in terms of how organizations are working across industries. Again, this is very sector agnostic. It is not limited to a technology industry or non-technology industry. It is not limited to IT, software, hardware, FMCG, consumer, cement and things like that. Every single industry has got its own unique ways, and the unique ways of competition, unique ways of expecting whatever the employees should contribute for the organization to grow and things like that. So a lot of thought is required, unlike probably 2 decades ago or 3 decades ago, where you probably can relax for the first 5 6 years of a career and things will fall in place automatically. It doesn't happen anymore. Today I've seen a lot of youngsters who really plan so hard, even very very earlier in their career, even if within 1 year or 1 or 2 years, within 1 or 2 years of their career, of their first job in their careers, they very very clearly start planning, okay, this is my ideal employer, next employer, this is the place where I'll shine well, this is the place where I'll garner and gather the knowledge and put use of my skills. This is the place which will teach me leadership skills. This is the place which will allow me to grow in the long term. In the next 5 years, I want to be here. Next 10 years, I want to be here. Not just in terms of role, even in terms of monetary growth. Okay, what exactly am I going to earn in about 5 years from now? What exactly am I going to earn in 10 years now? And now a lot of youth and a lot of these financial advisors talk about how quickly you should probably make your first 1 crore, not just by your earnings, but also by inculcating a habit of saving enough resources taken out from your monthly compensation. So it is all not very complex. It is just simple. It is just the basic things in place, basic understandings in place, and it is these factors which should always be in the back of our minds when we take career decisions. It is if we ignore any of these factors, then very very clearly we're talking long term. We suffer from career myopia, and this career myopia is an extremely dicey thing and dangerous thing for anybody who wants to be a successful career. As one of my favorite things which I say is, just look around and if you carefully observe people who are uber successful in their careers, probably they could be people who you know, they could be your peers, they could be your superiors, they could be probably someone who worked with you at some point in time, but suddenly you will see that maybe 10 years down the line you were lost somewhere, but they really become so big and successful. It is purely because they did not suffer from career myopia. So this is the message I wanted to effectively communicate to you. This could manifest in many form. If it also is very unique to what you are doing, what your educational qualification is, and what kind of plans you have for yourself, how people in your sector are prospering, what is the definition of success in your own sector. So the manifestations of this are very very wide, and it is a very very huge canvas. But to have that canvas in place in your mental map, to make sure that you need to probably imagine yourself, and not just imagine, probably you'll also put up the necessary efforts and work over the years to probably excel. If you do all this, then you can really beat career myopia and be extremely successful. I urge you not to suffer from career myopia, and if in case you probably are one of those who are assuming things for granted, I really think you should reconsider yourself, reconsider views. The world out there is extremely competitive and tough. Things don't happen by itself. It is not that you're going on a highway and the highway will ultimately take you to the destination. No, it is not a straight highway from point A to point B. It is a maze, and you have to navigate that maze by extremely good planning, almost year after year. This is a message I wanted to convey to you. Career myopia is the biggest backstabber for our successful life and careers, and if you have an iota of this problem, I think you should get cured quickly. Thanks for your time. I will see you soon in another interesting video. What are your views? What do you think about career myopia? Do you suffer this? Are you planning your career extremely well? I would like to hear from you in the comments. Pleasure talking to you. I will see you soon in another podcast. Have a successful life and successful career, and I wish you all the happiness. Thank you.